Hello dear students, we have completed ray optics, that was chapter number 9. Today we are going to start chapter number 10, which is wave optics. Wave optics is basically deals with the propagation of light. We try to understand how the propagation of light in terms of waves can be understood. But this is not the thing which comes, this theory is not something which comes suddenly from nowhere. It has developed over the certain period of time, over a long period of time. So let us try to understand first of all development, how the wave theory has been developed, and then after we will come to a syllabus part. The first theory about the light, how light propagates in a medium, was given by Newton, and that theory was called corpuscular theory. Corpuscular theory. This was given by Newton long time back ago in 17th century or 16th century, long time back it was given, and as per this theory it was believed that the luminous object shoots out some particles, and those particles are called corpuscle, and those particles actually travel through the medium. Means basically Newton was telling that the light is actually particle, and its one particle is called corpuscle, and a luminous object send or throws out these particles from itself. This theory was able to explain reflection of light, refraction of light, and rectilinear propagation of light, but there are so many other phenomena which could not be explained by this theory, and that's why this theory was rejected. The second theory was given by Huygens, and it was wave theory. Wave theory. It was given by Huygens. Basically in this chapter we will deal with this one only. All the theory given by Huygens, and we'll try to explain the phenomena like interference, diffraction, polarization with the help of Huygens theory. Huygens believed that the light travels in the form of wave, the wave which we have studied in class 11th in terms of, and light is a transverse wave, so it travels in the form of crust and trough from a luminous object. So he believed that light travels in the form of wave. Later on, one theory also given which is called electromagnetic theory. Electromagnetic theory. As per this theory, the light travels in terms of electromagnetic waves. Electromagnetic waves are there in our syllabus. It is chapter number 8. We have not done that chapter. Later on we will discuss in a very broad manner about electromagnetic waves, how these are produced, how these are propagated, what are the things, why it is called electromagnetic wave, so many things. So later on we will discuss that, but it was given by Maxwell. Okay, it was given by Maxwell, and it also explains so various phenomena of light. So phenomena of light phenomena shown by the light, it was explained by electromagnetic wave. The last theory was quantum theory. Quantum theory, which is also called particle theory, and this theory was given by Planck. I hope you must have heard the name in Planck's constant. So this theory was given by Planck, and Einstein used this theory to explain photoelectric effect. I hope these terms are not very strange to you. You have heard these terms while studying chemistry in chapter solid states. All these things are there: photoelectric effect, quantum theory, particle theory. These things were there. Actually, if you have gone through that chapter, then you must be knowing that light has dual nature. It has particle nature as well as wave nature. So photoelectric effect or quantum theory emphasize on particle theory, and Huygens wave theory emphasize that light travels in the form of wave. Is it clear? So in this chapter we'll deal with wave nature of light, wave theory, which was given by Huygens. So first thing, we need to understand the important terms which are required to understand, and then after we will move to the wave theory of light. Okay, the very first thing we are going to understand is wavefront. So let us try to understand what is a wavefront. Wavefront. For understanding wavefront, you need to understand one term which is called phase. Phase. What is phase? So if you represent a wave like y is equal to a sine omega t minus kx plus minus or whatsoever phi naught is also there. So this is called, where is the phase? So you must have remembered that I have told you whatever written with sine or cos, all this thing is called phase. Omega t minus kx plus phi naught, this is called phase, where phi naught is initial phase. Okay, so this is the mathematical term, how the phase is defined. But in reality, how the phase is defined in a theoretical part or conceptual part. So phase is something which describes the position of the particle with respect to time. Okay, phase is something which describes the position of the particle at a particular time. If it put t is equal to something over here, so it has the ability to describe where the particle is, because a is fixed. So where the particle is, y, what is the value of y for that? So we need to understand from this. Okay, so phase is something which describes the position of the particle, or in other words, like suppose if suppose this is a surface of water in a tank and we are looking it from the top, then what happens? Just try to understand. If you dip a stone, if you throw a stone into it, then what will happen? Concentric circles are generated. Circles are generated like this. And these circles have tendency to move towards the edges, isn't it? These circles have tendency to move towards the edges like this. Okay, this happens, we see that. And if we look at it sidewise, then how it does look? It looks something like this. Okay, these are transverse wave. So basically they travel in the form of crust and trough. I hope you must be knowing that this part is called crust and this part is called trough. So wave travels in the form of crust and trough. Suppose one particle is there, so that particle will not go along the wave, it will vibrate at its own position, up and down, up and down. When the crust part is moving through it, it will be up. When the trough part will be going through it, it will be down. As the wave goes from here, the particle does motion like this. So basically the particle vibrates only. Is it clear? Now just try to understand. If it is assumed that the surface of the liquid is uniform, okay, so if I take a particular time t, suppose the wave starts from here, it goes like this, and at a particular point it reaches over here. At a particular time it reaches over here. Say this distance is r. So wave will not go only in this direction, wave will go in this direction also with the same distance r, because time is same distance r, everywhere the distance will be r only. So basically it will be a circle of radius r. And if we look at the circle at once, all the particles which lies on the circle at once, then all the particles will do the vibration together. They will come up together and they will go down together. They will come up together and they will go down together. Means they are vibrating in same phase. X denotes the distance, so they are at the same distance, so x is same. They are at the same point of, suppose if all of them are crust, if one point is at crust, then all of them will be at the crust. So all of them will be vibrating together. They are going up together, then they are coming down together. They are going up together, then they are going down together. So this particular circle is a wavefront. So wavefront is something which consists all those particles which are vibrating in same phase. So if we try to define wavefronts, and what we'll define, we say that wavefront is the continuous locus of such particles which are vibrating in the same phase. Once again, wavefront is the continuous locus of such particles which are vibrating in the same phase. So this is how the wavefront is defined. Now, how many types of wavefront are there? So there are basically 3, and it is divided on the basis of their shape. Now suppose if the point source is this one, this is the point source, say S. So about it, how the wavefronts are there? So wavefronts are going to be concentric about S, and they are going to be spherical. They are going to be spherical in shape, and the center of the sphere will be source of light itself. The source of light is basically, the source of light is point source. So the kind of wavefront will have, it will be spherical in shape. A sphere is a shape which remains equidistant from its center. A sphere is the shape which remains equidistant from the center. So all the waves which are starting from S, they will be reaching at the surface of the sphere together. If I take this sphere, all the waves will be reaching at this sphere together. If I take this sphere, then all the waves will be reaching at this sphere together. So spheres are the wavefronts due to a point source. So these wavefronts are called spherical wavefronts. Spherical wavefronts. Now suppose if the source of light is a line source. If a source of light is a line source, say SS dash. So now how the wavefronts are formed? So this time the wavefronts are formed, they are going to be cylindrical, because cylindrical is a shape which remains equidistant from the source of light. Okay, cylindrical is the shape which remains equidistant. So basically this time the wavefront is going to be cylindrical. So this is going to be the second wavefront. We can make the third also. How the light waves are going to be? So the light waves are going to be something like this. Something like this. The light rays which shows the propagation of light, they'll go like this. Okay, so this is called, this kind of wavefronts are called cylindrical wavefronts. Cylindrical wavefronts. And the last one, we have plane wavefronts. So how that plane wavefront is formed? If the ray of light are straight and parallel to each other, these are the rays of light, they are straight and they are parallel to each other, definitely they are coming from a distant source, that is from infinity. So now the wavefronts are going to be like something like this. So these wavefronts are called plane wavefronts. Plane wavefronts are formed when the light source is at infinity. So these wavefronts are called plane wavefront. I hope I am clear. Due to a point source we have cylindrical, due to a line source we have cylindrical, due to a point source we have spherical, due to a line source we have cylindrical, and due to a distant source it is plane wavefront. So these are the type of wavefronts. Okay, take this screenshot because you have to make this diagram. Now let us try to draw some more wavefronts due to reflection, refraction and refraction through lenses. Okay, let us try to draw them. Now suppose we have been given a plane mirror, and in the plane mirror rays of light are like this. They get reflected and they go like this. Okay, so how the wavefront is formed? So for this, the wavefront is going to be something like this. These are the plane wavefronts, and for reflecting back, it is going to be like this. It is wavefront, it is surface, but I have drawn only the edge. The surface of the wavefront is like this, so you are only able to see this edge. So the wavefront is like this, incoming wavefronts, and these are reflected wavefronts. Incident wavefronts, reflected wavefronts. I hope I am clear. Now suppose if the refraction happens, rays of light are coming like this. So after refraction they pass like this. So how the wavefronts are drawn? So in this case wavefronts are drawn like this. Incoming wavefronts, reflected wavefronts. Okay, wavefronts they incident like this, but they refract like this. Okay. Now suppose we have been given a lens and rays are coming like this. So they pass through the focus. Now we try to understand them by wavefronts, how we are able to. So this is going to be the incident wavefront, and this is going to be the refracted one, refracted wavefronts. Okay, this is how we draw wavefronts. So many other cases can also be there, like suppose concave lens is given. So due to a concave lens, rays of light are like this. If we extend them behind, we'll have a image, virtual image over here. So how the wavefronts are drawn? These are the incident wavefronts and these are the refracted wavefronts. So this is how we draw the wavefronts. Okay. The very important thing is the rays are perpendicular to the wavefronts. Rays should always be perpendicular to the wavefronts. Okay, this is the most important condition, and this, if you have noticed, then on all the cases it was there. Okay, always rays of light are perpendicular to the wavefront. Moreover, one more thing you need to understand, that the phase difference between 2 points on the same wavefront, phase difference between 2 points on the same wavefront is going to be 0. Phase difference between 2 points on the same wavefront is going to be 0, because wavefront is a continuous surface of such particles which are vibrating in the same phase. So basically, phase difference between 2 particles which lie on the same phase, same wavefront, will be 0, because they will be vibrating in the same phase. Is it clear? So this is one again one very important point, and it was asked in the board examination also, that what is the phase difference between 2 particles which lie on the same wavefront? Obviously the answer is 0. So this is the behavior of wavefront. Okay, this is the behavior of wavefront. Now we need to understand Huygens theory. What is Huygens theory about wavefront? Okay, but Huygens theory we will do in the next part. Today let it be like that. This was today we have understood only about the wavefronts. In the next video lecture we will discuss about Huygens theory, reflection of light and refraction of light, and after that superposition, interference, so many things are going to come. Okay, so this was all for the day. Thank you.